Serie A.
Marcus Thuram! What a start to life in the Milan derby!
And all Manchester City games.
He goes and Stones and Haaland!
Live on K24. This season, K24 is your playground for champions. Don't miss out. Tune in and watch the best football from around the world on Maskani ya Machampe live on K24. Game ni 90 lakini ball ni 24/7 hapa K24. Have you watched K24? We would love to hear from you. Send us your feedback on what you like and what you don't like and why. You can use any platform to reach us. We can be reached on Facebook, SMS, Twitter, and WhatsApp.
Good morning. It is the 16th day of August 2024 and you're right on time for K24's New Dawn. Being on a Friday, we review how the week has been and actually the latest being the High Court stopping the road maintenance levy increase. Remember, it was previously 18 shillings. It moved to 25 Kenya shillings, despite the public, of course, having rejected that particular increase. However, EPRA had still or would still go ahead and gazette that the road maintenance levy should stand at 25 Kenya shillings. That even comes at a time that Kenyans are still asking what became of the Finance Act of 2023 that was nullified by the High Court. That means fuel should be more cheaper. In fact, when you reduce the road maintenance levy now from 25 Kenya shillings as directed by the courts back to 17 Kenya shillings, that is by a record 7 shillings, and at the same time slash the VAT from 16% to 8%, basically it translates to cheap fuel. We'll be seeing how that will be handled by EPRA. This even as in the world of politics a lot has happened. The embattled politician, that is Cleophas Malala, who was ousted as the UDA Secretary General, that's the ruling party, has come back to fight. He has now dragged the name of the chair, that is Cecily Mbarire, who is also the Embu governor, and as well Kimani Ichung'wah, majority leader and member of parliament Kikuyu, saying they plotted his ouster. In fact, he goes ahead and states that it's because of his good working relationship with the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua when he refused to back the impeachment motion against Gachagua. That was the beginning of his tribulations in the ruling party. However, he says there are still more counts of why he believes he should remain in office, but instead, Cecily Mbarire and Kimani Ichung'wah should step aside to pave way for investigations. And so that matter is now before the Internal Disputes Resolution Committee of the UDA party, even as Malala is urging the Office of the Registrar of Political Parties, that is ORPP, to cease making any changes until the matter is heard and determined. Remember, Hassan Omar had already taken over as the UDA Secretary General. On the other side, the Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka appears now to have softened his stance. Kalonzo says he's ready to engage with Raila Odinga. Jubilee Party, however, says, guess what? We were not aware or Uhuru Kenyatta did not initiate the pact between Raila Odinga and William Ruto. Raila had initially stated that Uhuru called him to reach out to President William Ruto in order for them to come up with the government of national unity, or actually cool the temperatures in the political space. On that set, I'll be having very key guests. That is Honorable Shege Mwaura. He's the Secretary General County Assemblies Forum. This is a forum that brings together all the members of county assemblies and is also the Ngara MCA. At the same time, Professor Fred Ogola, economic and governance expert. He will be right here in studio. And Wanjiku Thiga, gender justice advocate. By the way, Gen Zs are plotting yet another demo on 27th August 2024 after the botched Nane Nane protest. Start the conversation via social media platforms at K24 TV, at Joel Chacha, as well on SMS and WhatsApp numbers on the bottom of your screens. I'll be sampling some of your feedback before wrapping up New Dawn this morning. But first of all, before getting to the newspaper review, let's begin with these stories where the High Court has halted the government's decision to increase the road maintenance levy by 7 shillings. George Odhiambo Juma moved to court challenging the decision to increase the levy, arguing that no meaningful public participation had been conducted. The High Court suspended the increase pending the increase pending the hearing and determination.
Boosting the roads maintenance kitty, thereby increasing the fee by 39%. Before that, RMLF had not been revised since 2016. The government argued the delay revising the RMLF had caused 727 billion road maintenance backlog. Former Transport CS Kipchumba Murkomen gazetted the levy on July 10, 2024, a day after he assured Kenyans that the overwhelming concerns from Kenyans during the public participation stage would be considered.
How do we increase the 7 shillings without increasing 7 shillings at the pump? What can the government cushion? What cost that makes the petroleum higher, we can do away with, okay? And the difference, the benefit that comes to that difference, we can transfer to the roads without increasing the current fuel pumps up.
Kenya National Highways Authority, KENHA, revealed this week that the RMLF levy itself is not enough to repair the roads and announced the probability of introducing tolls on major roads. The authority listed Thika Superhighway, Nairobi Southern Bypass, among others. The latest move follows the decision by the court to declare the Finance Act 2023 unconstitutional. In the act, there was an increase in the VAT on fuel, which was increased from 8% to 16%, with the ripple effect being the high cost of living and the rise in the cost of fuel. The 16% VAT on fuel increased the cost of fuel by 12 shillings. At the moment, the price of fuel is as follows. Super petrol is retailing at 188.84 shillings, diesel at 171 shillings, and kerosene now retailing at 161 shillings in Nairobi. EPRA say the prices are inclusive of the 16% value-added tax in line with the provisions of the Finance Act 2023, the Tax Laws Amendment Act 2020, and the revised rates for the excise duty adjusted for inflation per legal notice number 194 of 2020. With the Finance Act out of the picture, the prices essentially should have dropped to super petrol at 176, diesel at 154, and kerosene at 149.75 in Nairobi. The latest move by the courts on matters road maintenance levy means that fuel prices should drop by 7 shillings if at all the court orders are implemented. This means super petrol should now retail at 169 shillings, diesel at 147 and kerosene at 142.75 in Nairobi. A breakdown of the taxes is as follows. Excise duty tax is at 21 shillings. Road maintenance levy is at 25 shillings. Import declaration levy is at 26 shillings. Petroleum development levy is at 5.40 shillings. Petroleum regulatory levy is at 75 cents. Railway development levy is at 1 shilling. And value added tax is at 26 shillings.
Well, after this story, I'm sure even my director, Joan Kasavuli, would contemplate perhaps changing her career. Kenyan athletes who won medals at the 33rd Summer Olympic Games, were feted on Thursday by President William Ruto for their efforts. Gold medalists took home 3 million Kenya shillings, with silver medalists bagging 2 million and bronze medal winners taking home 1 million shillings each. Gladys Midesha with the details.
After landing at the Eldoret International Airport, the athletes who flew Kenya's flag at the just concluded Olympic Games in Paris were received by various leaders, including Uasin Gishu Governor Jonathan B., Elgeyo Marakwet Governor Wellesley Rotich, and MP Oscar Sudi. Outside the airport, it was a warm welcome of song, joy, and dance. The Kenyan heroes then joined a convoy that headed to Eldoret town, where they were received by hundreds of fans. The next stop was the Eldoret State Launch, where President William Ruto received Team Kenya. Kenya was represented by 83 athletes in the 33rd edition Games and had a rich representation in athletics, from Eliud Kipchoge to Ferdinand Omanyala, and other sports including the Kenya Sevens rugby team and the women's volleyball team, Malkia Strikers. Kenya managed to scoop 11 medals, 4 gold, 2 silver and 5 bronze.
An Olympic champion. It is here in Eldoret that the heart of Kenya's athletic success beats strongest. And it is here that we reaffirm our commitment to nurturing the next generation of champions. As we celebrate both our Olympic champions and the birth of the City of Champions, let us remember that we are all part of this incredible journey. Together, we will continue to soar to new heights, for Kenya is and always will be the land of champions.
The highlight of the ceremony was awarding of the athletes. The Olympian gold winners, Beatrice Chebet, who won double gold in the 10,000 and 5,000 meters, Faith Kipyegon retaining her 1,500 meter crown, and Olympic champion in the 800 meters, Emmanuel Wanyonyi, each received 3 million.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for the warm welcome. We are really truly grateful. Tumeona tumekaribishwa. Watu walikuwa niliulizwa na chef jana, uliona Botswana venye walikaribishwa, nikasema acha tungoje yetu asubuhi. And this is it. So we are really grateful. At least to motivate kama elite athletes, especially I, defending title for the third time, back to back. That was not an easy task. Najua nimemotivate Faith hapo. Bado ni mdogo, she was our last one.
Silver medalist winners Faith Kipyegon and Ronald Kemoi were awarded 2 million shillings each, while world champion in the women's 800 meters race Mary Moraa, Abraham Kibiwot, Faith Cherotich, Benson Kipruto and Helen Obiri each received 1 million shillings for their bronze medals.
Depending on runners. Other countries, why they are reaping so much gold, they have many other things. We don't understand why we don't have people who can just shoot. There was a Turkish guy who was just standing there, he doesn't even wear anything, and he's just, yeah? Even archery, we should be able to participate. And we know where the problem is, Your Excellency. It's in the leadership of the federations. Most of the federations are not organized. And as a ministry, we want to promise that the federation for swimming, for badminton, for these archeries and all this, we are going to call them, we organize them, we support them, so that in 4 years we have more disciplines participating in the next Olympics.
Gladys Midesha, K24 TV.
Perhaps now Joan can make attempts to even run the 100-meter race and scoop 3 million Kenya shillings from the Kenyan government. Away from that, with the Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Mbadi keen on resetting certain sections of the Finance Bill 2024, he termed as progressive. Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka now says the key concern is not the introduction of the taxes but accountability. As Ian Kitani now files, the former vice president also hinted at the Azimio Council, which includes the former President Uhuru Kenyatta, holding a meeting to deliberate on the recent political realignments.
After taking over reins of power, Treasury CS John Mbadi hinted at working on reinstating some sections of the Finance Bill 2024 back to Parliament, a bill that was dropped by President William Ruto due to relentless pressure from Gen Z protesters. His sentiments were echoed by Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka, who termed the lack of accountability for the taxes collected as the main concern.
The important thing is what Gen Zs and millennials and Kenyans expect is transparent engagement. We all know to run a government, you need to have a measure of taxation, all right? But it's how you go about it and what you do with those taxes.
Kalonzo, however, slammed President William Ruto over what he termed as not allowing cabinet secretaries to work independently.
So the effective Minister for Finance is not John Mbadi, it's William Ruto, because he will micromanage those ministries.
With the speculation rife over looming fallout within the opposition coalition, Kalonzo hinted at former President Uhuru Kenyatta convening a meeting to deliberate on recent political developments.
Hivi karibuni hata chairperson wa Azimio Summit ambaye ni mheshimiwa ambaye amestaafu Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, nadhani ataitisha kikao ili tujadiliane mambo haya kiwaziwazi.
Just a few days after insisting on taking over the leadership of the opposition, following Raila Odinga's decision to work with President William Ruto, Kalonzo, who has been slammed in recent past over failure to stand his ground, noted that he's ready to sit with Raila Odinga and deliberate on what next for the coalition.
You see, we must continue to engage with Raila Odinga. Is as we speak, the leader of Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition. There's no way we'll not engage with him going forward, and so that is to be expected.
The former vice president, however, declined to comment on who played what role in the run-up to the former premier working with President Ruto, amid blame games on why Odinga decided to work with Kenya Kwanza.
David, ask Mheshimiwa Jeremiah Kioni that question. Ask Raila that question. If you're able to reach President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, ask him that question. And they might give you some very interesting answers.
Kalonzo was speaking during the Africa Youth Summit 2024 organized by Oslo Center, a meeting aimed at empowering and engaging the youth in constructive dialogue that inspires change, with the Oslo Center chairperson Fine Jari Road calling for the involvement of the youth in decision-making.
Youth Assembly, which is an activity done by the Oslo Center in Kenya and beyond. It's an awarded program that we are very proud of to do in Kenya. It was awarded by the President of France in 2019.
Ian Kitani, K24 TV, Nairobi.
On to other news. 3 weeks after his nomination as Inspector General of Police, Douglas Kanja was vetted on Thursday in a joint session of the National Assembly's Administration and Internal Security Committees and the Senate's National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations Committee. Kanja admitted gaps in the police response to the invasion of Parliament on June 25th, vowing to take measures to secure critical installments if he's appointed. And as Miral Adhiambo now reports, the career police officer has promised sweeping reforms in the police service, proposing the use of technology to stem corruption.
9 years.
The nominee for Inspector General of Police, Douglas Kanja, today detailed his 39 years of service in the police force before a joint sitting of the National Assembly Committee on Administration and Internal Security and the Senate's Standing Committee on National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations, as he sought to prove that he is fit for the role.
What would you do?
Kanja promised to implement a court order issued by the High Court yesterday, directing the Inspector General of Police to ensure that officers wear name tags and display their service numbers, following concerns over their conduct during the recent youth-led protests.
On 21st July last year, people not uniformed went into Kisumu in the night, and you saw the number of people they killed. All male persons they pulled from houses in Nyalenda and Nyamasari were all shot, either in the head, the heart, or in their genital areas. And of course, the excuse the police have is that without the uniform, we cannot know who they are. So the manner in which the police should be dressed while in operation or action is something we need to hear specifically from you, how you want to address it.
We want an accountable police service. So mine is to ensure that even when we are going for a deployment, whatever kind of deployment, be it to control those kind of demonstrations, be it other operations, the necessary uniforms that are supposed to be worn will have to be put on.
Kanja was also at pains to defend the police response to the breach of parliament during the protest on June 25th and the use of live bullets on protesters.
Were you pleased, IG nominee, with the invasion of parliament?
No, that was one of the lowest moments in my life.
Official figures from the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights indicate that at least 60 people were killed during the recent protests.
It is also reported that most of those dead people were unharmed and only had telephone sets in their hands.
The IG, through the Internal Affairs Unit, can also be able to order investigations to look into those very serious allegations of the violations of the rights of the people. This is an area that we cannot allow anyone to come around joking around with this parliament. So for me, I will do whatever it takes to ensure that this parliament is safe and secure.
Also of interest to the committee was the matter of corruption in the police force, which Kanja has proposed to address through the use of body cameras and the implementation of the reforms proposed in the Moraga Police Task Force report. According to a 2023 survey by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, the National Police Service is one of 3 institutions most prone to bribery.
Adoption of technology is a key priority because, as I said from the word go, the service has actually been left behind. It has actually been lagging behind on matters technology.
President William Ruto nominated Kanja to the IG position on July 25th, following the resignation of Japhet Koome amid concerns over police brutality at the height of the recent youth-led protests. The committees will now retreat to prepare their report, which will be tabled for adoption on Monday next week.
Same venue.
Muriel Adhiambo, K24 TV, Nairobi.
And as promised, being on a Friday, we review what has been happening in the course of the week. That is Week in Review, where we'll be touching on the major topics that form the conversations in this nation. Already in studio, my guests are set. That is Professor Fred Ogola, economic and governance expert. Wanjiku Thiga, she is a gender justice advocate. And set to join us shortly will be Honorable Shege Maura, who's the Secretary General of County Assemblies Forum. Keep the conversation going via social media platforms at K24 TV, at Joel Church, as well on our SMS and WhatsApp numbers on the bottom of their screens. When we come back, we'll be reviewing what is in our dailies. Stay tuned for that.
Joe Jefferson, a boy from the ordinary world, Earth, has been summoned to Muddle Earth, a medieval fantasy world. Full of monsters, mayhem, and he must fight evil on behalf of the wizard Randolph. Muddle Earth, only on K24 TV.